Dawn breaking here at Juma Game Reserve. Good morning everybody and welcome to Wilder Safari. Seb is with me on camera, Tara back in final control, and I was expecting to see quite a sunrise this morning, but there's still a bit too much to do. Some circles around the open area called Quarantine because Mishu was around and he was hungry, he was hunting, still grazing it when we were there a few minutes ago. We're going to head back and hopefully we're going to be able to find something. And as I'm talking to no, I lost it. The night that I needed the most, we lost it. The Herman was fit. Yeah, I'm talking about my internet. I don't know, evidently internet's gone, but we'll imagine that it's still fine. Hopefully it's still fine. Or it'll come back. We're at Taylor Access Road. Let's go find out if those baboon are seeing something important. I wonder where they are. Of course, this means that we're going to have to freeze now. They're looking onto Quarantine. They're looking up here onto the open area. Oh! Somewhere, and not over the rainbow. Under the rainbow. Way out here. Let me see. Turn around. Have a look. Can't see them. Just gonna go up onto the open area. They're looking up here somewhere. While I'm looking at around for things, let's have a quick glimpse at that beautiful sunrise coming up. And let's see if I can. They're shouting, but they're not highly upset. They've barked a couple of times, which means that they saw something. They're not still seeing it. But with a little bit of luck, I'll be able to. The big male is sitting deep in a tree there. He's not even looking this way. A couple of the smaller ones looking. It's just been around, and I think they've lost visual of it. All the impala on the southern end. So well, it's going to have to keep on trying. Well done, Seb. Well done, Seb. 2 leopards. Oh, yeah, yes. We've got 2 leopards. Could be. Let's get a shot of both of them. Oh, we can't. We can try. Get them in one shot. Oh, beautiful. Absolutely fantastic. Oh, so excited. My birthday present. You're late, boys. That is a big... Oh, can't see who that is in the distance. and this one's lying down. That's very, I couldn't even get to see who this is. No, Mark, he's a leopard. Those are impala. Yes, okay. He's looking at the impala to the south, because there's a ram rutting, chasing females around. That is one of the times when a leopard has got a good advantage over impala, because they're so preoccupied with this whole rutting business. Now here they come. The impala actually starting to walk this way. He's sat down. I can see, it could be, I mean, it was another male. It was definitely another male. He's gone way down towards camp, and I've just lost visual of him. But we're not going to follow the other one. It could be Induna, more than likely. I guess, remote possibility, it could be Yambilu. But there are actually impala starting to wander over this way. Come, little children. As long as he doesn't stand up now. Unfortunately, this was not visual from the road, because the main road that comes through the open area is just a little bit further ahead of us, and we didn't see them, because I would have loved to have seen the interaction between these two. They seem to have been keeping their distance. Well, he's moving on, so we're going to follow. Obviously not too interested in impala. No better way to start the day. Well, I guess it's a toss-up. Could have been a herd of elephant or a big bull. Moved on, Mixo. Henry coming? Oh, there he is. He's just got something in his mouth. Oh, yeah. Down, way down south. Shall we go down there quickly? He's up a tree. He's chewing on something. Let's get there. Sorry, Mixo. You come and join us, boy. And it does look like Induna. He's found something to chew on. It's the leg. Oh no, it's one of the baby wildebeest. It's got a leg of a wildebeest. It looks like it. I'm going to have to turn around, because we want to see Mixo approaching. And we want to see... Work. He's got a very full tummy. That is just absolutely incredibly beautiful. The sun is coming through. He's going to start snarling at his brother, because he's watching his brother approach, and he's growling. You can hear him growling from here already. I wonder if he didn't kill it. Or is it a baby waterbuck? Could be I think that's a baby waterbuck. Maybe. You dropped it, you silly boy. You're still dropping kills out of it, and it's not even a big tree. Please take it back up there. Thank you. He's such a nice leopard, this. There's a hyena. He's looking at a hyena, actually. There's a hyena. Probably the hyena who's made the kill. Just up.
Yeah, another one.
And another one coming. Yeah. Can you see Mixo? Now where Mishu's gone? He's watching. He's dropped it now. I don't think the hyena have... There's Floppy Ear. She's coming. He's going to lose. I'm obviously not interested in that bone anymore. Growling. Seb, I'm going to have to turn. He's going towards his brother. Floppy Ear, the hyena's on her way here. Of course I'm not looking, and I'm quite possibly parking on top of him. Alright, I can see Mishu. He's under a monkey pod somewhere off to the left.
Can you go down?
Sorry dude. Sorry everybody. Me and my hat get in the way quite a bit. Hey, growling again at his brother. Floppy Ear just off in the distance. She's not even seeing them. She's starting to trot in a different direction. It's almost as though she's seen something and she's heading off there. So I'm not going to see much of her. Okay. We're going to see a bit of interaction now, I hope. He's rubbing against some of this. Here comes Floppy Ear. She's crisscrossing a scent trail that she's probably found. You can hear her running. He's looking at his options to climb into a tree. Ah, she's nearly at that leg. Nose in the air. She's trying to find it. The two boys are looking at each other. I'd like to... she's... don't know what to look first. Okay, Floppy Ear's running off. He's watching her disappear now. I think these hyena made a kill, I have to be honest. Because they're behind some bushes and they're clearly still eating on something. The two boys are now watching each other. Induna's growling a little bit and he's rolling. It's almost like he's inviting Mishu. Okay, Seb, I'd like to move a little bit forward so we can watch Induna watching Mishu watching Induna. It's okay boy, it's okay boy, relax. Okay. Alright, I'm stopping. You go and do what you have to do. Go and talk to your brother. I should be a bit closer, but there's the monkey pod in the distance. That's where Mishu is, just to the right of that bush. You can barely see him. You can just see the bush moving. There's a lot of growling, and there's, oh, it's like this low. Oh, no, not even. It's a bit deeper than that.
Going around the bush.
What I'm interested in seeing is whether there's going to be play or they're just going to keep their distance from each other. Okay, we've got to catch up. They're both walking in the same direction now. Kind of walking parallel to each other, keeping an eye on each other. Floppy Ear still running around looking for that leg. She can smell it. And I'm keen to go back there and see, but I don't want to. There's no way that I'm going to leave leopards. Pardon? Especially the two brothers, yeah. There's impala up ahead. Induna is lying down or something. Oh no, there he is. So far they've been quite amicable. Okay. There we go. Let's see what's going to happen. They're still paralleling each other. Low rumbles coming from their throats. Sorry, Steve, we've got to move again. Impala have now seen them, so of course, and one of the wildebeest. They are clearly not really much interested in impala at the moment or hunting. There's a dynamic going on here. There's something where they... Uh-oh, we're going to miss this if it happens behind this bush. Circles. We're going in circles. Henry's probably itching to get out here, but his guests haven't woken up yet. If only they knew. Morning, Mishu. I think they turned this way. They're heading back northwest again because the impala started shouting at them in the south. There's a good chance that they're just heading now north again. Something is going on here because as Mishu turns, Induna turns too, and it's quite a distance away. They're keeping this sort of 15-20 yard gap between each other. Lifting his tail, but he's not spraying yet. He's rubbing cheek glands. Oh, Induna looks beautiful in that sunlight. Some distance away. Mishu just checking up on him. Alright, let's catch up. On the road. Now we are close to the road. Yeah, Induna walking on the road. Wow, look, going in sunlight. He's going to find the leg. We're back at, I think this is where the tree was. We're back at where the leg was. Mish is sniffing around now. I think he is calculating this all along. Walking away to draw his brother away so that he could sneak back here and come and see what he could find. But you missed it, boy. Hyena still trotting up and down. Sorry, let's move again. Both hyenas are still trotting. They're doing this really bouncy walk to get their heads above the grasses. There we go, you can see them in the distance. Both of them, I think, have honed in. They both honed in on, three of them. They've honed in on Induna. They've seen Induna. We're just going to leave Mishu. Mishu has stopped. All three of these hyenas seem to have honed in on. They've seen Induna. I'm probably going to chase him up a tree. I don't see him now. Probably running. Where? Oh, here's Induna. So I don't know where those hyenas are doing, what they're doing. They're running off. Induna, that's just very, very weird. Those three hyenas took off to the southwest. Right now, where did Mishu go? We look. I just wanted to see if I could see this. I wanted to see if I could see this leg here, but I can't. This is more or less where I thought I saw the hyenas doing stuff. And here comes the sun, little darling. Yeah, they're sniffing. Induna sniffing around. Somewhere here something happened, I think.
I can smell something elsewhere.
Yeah, I can smell a kill.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard there was a bumper here. It must have been, I think, a Misi, because one of these Ingwe had a leg in his mouth. Toileting. Boom. I have to tell you that there's a plant here that's got a pretty sharp thorn on it. For him to have bowled over like that amongst them all, must be quite resilient. Shall we move a bit closer? Beautiful light. Here comes Induna. Growling. Where Induna is now, bending over. That's where I think something is. Yeah, he's found something to chew on there. Both of them are being vocal, but I'm not seeing any facial expressions. Oh, other than flat ears. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Now they're getting, because they're getting really, really close now. Mish is getting flat, ears flat, now the tail's starting. Nice. They're avoiding contact by keeping this little distance apart. I think their instinct, what is driving them, is their adulthood and their need to be independent from each other. that coupled with the fact that they know each other, they've had 2 years of bonding, 2 years of playing and fighting over food. Each one knows of each other's strengths. They know where they can lose out in a fight against each other. And I think there's incredible restraint here that they're actually not making contact. And this could go on for hours, this pacing together. We are not even 100 meters from the lodge. We're now reaching the northern edge of the open area, and there's a strong likelihood they're going to disappear into this thick bush. Let's get onto the road. And probably they're going to be around our camp most of the day. They're going to get off of this open area with daylight coming, and look at that. The two brothers in morning sunlight disappearing. Look how full Induna is. He's got a very full belly. He's looking a little bit bigger actually than Mixo. Bye, Mixo. He's gone off. I'm just losing visual of him now. Mixo disappeared in here, just off to our right. Can't see where he went to. And we're just going to have to leave Induna now. Oh, not just yet. He's marking his territory. Following his brother. They're actually going to be going right through camp. Probably. I'm going to stop here. He's behind this little terminalia. But he just glared at me, so I just stopped, because I don't want to push him. mother does. Well, I've seen a lot of leopards do it. When they get to a bush and they jump up and grab the branches and pull them down to rub on them. And you hear them go, there we go, both of them together again. Sorry. I think that's going to be as deep as we can go. Can you still see any of them?
Yes. Right in front. More that on the other side of that bush in front of us.
Yeah. I can hear some.
They're walking to the right.
I can hear the growling. Hello, Lindsay. How old will they be before they'll be able to mate for the first time? A lot of factors involved there. I mean, it could be 3, 4. It's all got to do with how soon they can set up their own territories and get to an area where they're not going to be stepping on. Tied up in bushes now. Donald, Ingwe here I'm for. 2. Just here.
Careful.
Okay.
That's my message from James, of course. After my dispatch was going to remove my I was not satisfied for
I'm just going to stop here now and listen. Well, I guess. What was that?
Impala. Shouting.
I think let's get back. Let's go down and see what those hyena were running after. Have this strange way of doing things with elephants. Everywhere else I've lived in other parts of Africa, I wouldn't say elephants are encouraged to come in, they're just not discouraged. And it's part of the whole experience when you get elephants coming into camp. The camps that I've been in, everywhere else I've been in Africa, we've had resident elephant practically living in camp. We've got to walk guests everywhere. We've got to warn guests all the time not to approach them. Pardon? Yeah, we'll have to go around. That is them. Or is that hyena? Something up the power line. No, it's hyena. It's the hyenas coming back. You can zoom in on that if you want. I can't quite see what these hyenas are up to. I think they're just approaching. Probably the same three that... I lost them now.
Behind the bush.
Yeah.
This is something else.
Karula would leave them around camp, and sometimes I wondered whether she didn't leave them here. So used to people on foot that they can be approached. I guess it's from people walking up to them to photograph them. Let's go back onto the open area and continue our morning. I think we could also come down the power line on the other side. I think they're still in here somewhere. I think. Could be there. I think I just saw something. There's a log there that catches me often. They've been around here all night. The leopard tracks, I didn't even notice it this morning, but who was it? I think Mixo that was saying that baboons are shouting all night. I know Graham's dogs. There, here in the grass. That's a look. There are tracks here, but there's been rain on them. And Graham's dogs were going crazy all night. So these leopards have probably been growling at each other and circling each other and doing this mowed patch of lawn is for a helicopter to land, by the way. It's not really lawn. Okay, what I'm going to do while we're on the open area, I want to go back to that. I want to look at that leg. I want to see whose child it was that was eaten last night. If I can find it. The hyena didn't roll. The hyena didn't find it. That I could remember where it was. It's that one spot where it looked like they were sniffing around at something, where there could have been a kill, where we were smelling things. Yeah, this is where there are a lot of tracks here. Yeah, this is where it was.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
I think the depends. I think it's when you move. Something is doing.
Okay, well, we'll run some tests. We've got our lapel mics back, as you can see, this little thing. We used to use these on fireside chats. They've been in the city, being fixed.
Maybe it's because of the aerial. You can't leave it in your pocket, that's why. It's because the aerial was in your pocket.
Later, so here is one of the larger bones. And what is interesting, although I can't really see too well, the marrow doesn't really look too healthy. It's very pale, should be nice and pink. But that's one of the leg bones, been chewed, cracked by the hyena. I suppose I should have put my gloves on. A lot of bone fragments. So this is where the kill happened last night. I'm revising my thoughts that it was hyena that killed it. I'm thinking that it might have been Induna, because he was, of the two leopard, I think he looked the fullest. He had that leg bone in his mouth. He knew where it was. I think the hyena have come along afterwards. They might have stolen the remains of it. The hyena have definitely polished it off. I mean, this cracked leg bone that's the work of a hyena, not a leopard. Well, let's ride around a little bit more. But this is where it happened. This is right here. The baboon tree is not maybe 70, 75 yards east of us. So I'm not surprised the baboons were going crazy all night, because this happened almost underneath their tree. They would have heard everything. They would have been shivering with fear, knowing that there was a predator killing, that had killed something right near their tree. They probably had enough eyesight. They probably had enough night vision. Baboons don't have that great night vision, but they probably could see enough to see movement. It was overcast, so there were no stars. It is new moon at the moment, so there was no moon. So it was probably quite a dark night. And I guess that darkness added to the tension and the drama. Leopard tracks, hyena tracks, and these little patches of sand. I really don't know, Lindsay. Roughly every 2 years, starting from about the age of 2 or 3. How old was Karula when she had her? See, she's 7 this year, so she was about 3. So she was probably about 3, I guess. I don't know. Could see them them, the hyena them. There it is. A little bit of meat on it. Waterbuck. Wildebeest. I can't even tell from just one leg. Kind of difficult. I'm going to take a photograph of it. I'm leaning more towards wildebeest because there's a much sharper point to the hoof. The waterbuck's hoof is quite rounded in the front compared to the wildebeest. Let's go down. I can see the wildebeest down in the hill. They are down south in the southern end of the open area. I'm just going to remove this lapel mount quickly. We'll go and count them. Would have been, if it was Induna, if it was one of the boys, it's quite a kill actually. I'm leaning more towards wildebeest on account of that hoof being very much more pointed than the waterbuck. The waterbuck, hello Hippo. Waterbuck has got a much more rounded front to their hoof. Leopard and hyena track. These boys have been all over the place last night, this morning. I guess we're going to have to just go and find something else now. I was hoping to stay with the boys the whole morning. I didn't want to leave them. But what to do, what to do. So, Lindsay, just getting back to your question, how many litters a leopard will have. You see, it's not easy because there isn't a very typical lifespan of a female leopard. I mean, I'm quite surprised. Having come back to the Sabi Sand, I was very surprised to learn that there are leopards here that are 17, 18, 19 years old. I don't know until what age they are still able to reproduce. Because mostly animals that are no longer sexually reproductive don't last very long. A state of mind we call senility. One female there, I wonder if she's looking for a calf. The other wildebeest are here on our right. Just gonna have it. Also was 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm seeing 4 calves. She's gone off looking. Well, the youngest of the calves is still here. So, yeah, I would say 99.9%. Let's even make it 100. It was a wildebeest calf. I think my doubt crept in because of the color of it. But anyway, just to finish my thought there. One thinks of a leopard living to maybe 12 to 14 years. It would only really produce about 6 sets of cubs maximum. I'm going to see if I can see where this other wildebeest is going. She was lactating. She's walking out onto the open area. I'm pretty sure that she must be the mother that's lost her calf. We had 5 calves, there are only 4. She's disappeared. Oh, there she is. She has that look about her that she's looking. There's this feeling I'm getting, a strong feeling that, yeah, look at her. At the moment, computer has shut down, so we don't have control of the camera. Here come the baboons too. A whole troop. All, what, 5 or 6 of them. From a troop that was, what, about 17 strong. That female up ahead is calling now, I can hear her. Definitely the one that lost her calf. And the rest of the herd are now wandering, I think because the baboon are coming up, sensing that they can wander back onto the open area, I guess. Is Herman in camp already? I think that was Herman in that blue car. And quite incredibly, these baboon are actually approaching us. I think as long as one sits quietly, they'll approach. I think it's a different thing. Much like all the other animals, it's a completely different matter if we try and approach them. The wildebeest are getting a bit funny with them. The young male climbing the tree. And on my right is this female that's supposedly having a baby soon, but I don't see her being pregnant, I'm afraid. She doesn't look pregnant at all. Pity we can't zoom in at the moment because, well, it's beautiful light. The other mother, what's her name? Evelyn. Oh, baby's Evelyn. This is Psycho. Evelyn. I know she's a female already, that little one. Just laying across mom's back. What's the name of the little boy, the naughty little boy, Tara? Little Huey is a brat. He went up the marula tree. He's playing lookout. And Tankman, is that Tankman? Wildebeest are actually, they're trying to intimidate Tankman the baboon and one of the females. Well, sadly, as beautiful as the light is in the setting, we're going to have to call it a day. We don't have control over the camera. There's not much we can do. Or we could just drive with it on zoomed out. We just won't be able to zoom in on anything.
Can't change the aperture either.
Pardon?
We can't change the aperture either.
I can't change the aperture either, no. I was just thinking I could do it, the chat that I would do in FC I could do from here, but we're down to 4 wildebeest calves. That's sad. And in the distance, that female still looking around, wandering around, turning and calling. That's I don't know what it is. It's touching. It's life. It's inevitable. The rest of the herd now moving away. They came out here to look for her. They're actually turning their back on her, moving away from her. I guess they're sort of moving away as if to say, well, you know, got to move on. But yeah. But there's clear body language going on here. They move off, and then one of them comes back, and that brings the rest of them back, and they stand here and they watch her. And she just doesn't know what to do with herself. She's looking about, standing, facing one direction, calling. Turns around, looks in another direction. She's reluctant to leave that area. Her calf was there. She probably, possibly, maybe knows what happened to her calf. Probably, possibly, maybe. In all likelihood, she does know what happened to her.
They're coming back again.
They're coming back again. There's always this female, and I think this is one of the older of the females. She's also lactating. And the second female as well. Well, they're all coming back. So they're a little torn between carrying on with the day, getting on with things, moving into the bush to go grazing for the day, away from the open area. And yet this bond that they have as a herd, a bond as a group, keeps them coming back and looking at that female in the distance. I think they finally, looks like they might decide to go and join her. I don't know, wait for her. They're now calling her. You can't really see her, but she's standing. There's this small group that we have just behind them to the left. In the distance is a big marula tree, and the other female, you can just make out a little spot maybe of that other female moving in the distance, but not easy. We can't zoom in, we can't change iris, we can't do anything at the moment. And I'm just going to sit here with these wildebeest a little bit, because once again, other females that were in front of us have turned around. They're going back into the bush, back down towards Philemon's cut line. They're going to try and draw her back again. It's like they come out onto the open area and they say, look, we want to move, we want to go, come with us. And she's not. She's reluctant to leave. The size and the darkness of this one female makes me think that she is the oldest. She's probably the lead female of the group. One of the ones that make a lot of the decisions. That's her now, just at the back of the group on the far right. She's a lot darker than the others. Oh, going back again. They don't want to leave her. Oh, there's a vehicle now. Does change things a little bit having a vehicle. Here she comes. I think she's finally giving up. I'm just going to wait here for her to get here. Starting to run now. I think she's finally given up and is making her way here now to rejoin the herd. Oh, she stopped. That is Lucas, by the way, in the vehicle. He's just switched the pump on and he's now going to be changing valves. There's a switch of valves there in the middle of nowhere on the water pipeline that runs to the lodge from Philemon's Dip. And he'll be diverting water either to Inga's house or to the lodge or to Yuri's house. I want to see what happens when this female arrives, because she's going to rejoin the group on the left, and she's starting to trot now. So we're going to just start up. I want to see what kind of interaction there is when she gets to the herd. There we go. She's trotting quite fast now. There she is, just coming out onto the road, rejoining the group. Just pandemonium breaking out. Look, they're all running around with her now. I guess it's maybe just happy that she's joining them. Yes, she is. Don't look at me, I didn't take your baby. It's not like they're ganging up on her, they're just trying to approach her, they're just trying to, they can probably sense her distress. But that is something we don't see very often. There is an interaction and behavior, and I don't know what else to call it. Word dynamic comes to mind, but it's not. Okay, well, I'm going to head to final control. Sadness. A really exciting morning, an exciting start to the day, but there is a little bit of sadness. We do get used to the animals that we see every day, even wildebeest and impala. We don't get to personalize them as much as we do the lion, or rather the leopard more than the lion. I guess if we saw lion more often we would. But it's a loss. These wildebeest, we see them every day. Sometimes we take them for granted. I do recall saying some time ago that with these wildebeest living on this open area, it's going to happen one day. It happened last night. I feel that, I can feel some of that emotion from those animals. There's almost like I can feel their energy. I can feel the mood. I don't think Induna would be as full as he is if the hyena had killed that calf. I'm not going to say goodbye just yet. I want to get back to the northern end of the open area just in case we can see one of the boys, just in case they're still growling at each other or doing something. Can't do much about it. And we'll get back to camp, give Siyabonga his first challenge. Technical department. we might be able to come out again. So don't write it off just yet, but we'll be in FC while Seb and Herman and Siabongo are working on things. So I guess this is the time to say we'll see you in a short while, and I'll be talking to you from Juma Waterhole Camp. There's a noise there where the kill was. Franklin shouting. Bye for now.